Hello, Terry here with Profound Talent. We are carrying on our conversation around equity, diversity, and inclusion, and I'm going to add another component to that subject matter, and that's unconscious bias. But before we do that, I want to again reiterate the importance of how to move forward. We've talked about why it's important to have diversity in a business. We've talked about how do we actually ensure that there's inclusivity in the culture of our company and amongst that collective whole of employee base. We've talked about what does equity mean and how we need to support individuals based on the needs that they have and not what we feel we have. We also have talked about the labor force and why these conversations are coming up and why we're hearing more about it. And it's because we have a diverse population group in our labor force and in our companies. And so we need to make sure that we are including everybody, that we're appreciative of everybody's differences, and that we are ensuring that they're supported and respected when they come into the workplace. So the next kind of conversation I want to bring forward on this is how do we actually do that? So we have this organization, we have a number of individuals in the organization. Now, how do we ensure that we have a diverse population, first of all, and that we are not really been focused on hiring one specific type of individual, whether that be a personality type, like a driver A personality, or whether it be all women, or maybe it's all of a certain ethnicity, or a certain gender, or a certain age group. So diversity can happen in many ways, and organizations will tend to skew in certain directions. And so we want to make sure that we have an understanding of how do we now create a recruitment strategy to be able to bring in diverse populations, because one of the challenges we will have if we have all of the same individuals is we get a bit of what I call groupthink, which is we don't get a lot of different thinking, we don't get a lot of innovation, we don't get a lot of new ways of approaching challenges and moving the business forward. And sometimes when you have too much of a good thing or a one thing, you end up with bigger challenges, in the sense that you could have a lot of clashing of personalities as well, because too many of the same personality can ultimately sometimes clash as well. And then you have other challenges that you're going to be dealing with. So what is the first step that you need to do? And it's really to take an assessment of your current employee base and have a really good understanding of, what is the diversity within your organization. Look at your different levels within the organization. In your leadership levels, do you have all men, all women, all young individuals, all older individuals? What does your leadership executive level look like? Is it diverse? And then take it down even from there and say, okay, what does the rest of your organization look like? Do you have a diversification strategy in place? If you don't, it might be time to get one going. So first, assess your current organization and employee base. Get an understanding of who you have in your organization. If there are any gaps of population that you should potentially consider bringing in. Look at your skill level. Look at your situation. Do you have a diversification strategy for when you go out to market to look for hiring new talent into your organization? And if you don't, how do you create one and make sure that you do bring something like that on board, so you're more proactive in your approach with your recruitment? And then the next phase of that will be, what is your recruitment strategy to actually go now find the right talent to come in that's going to help fill some of those gaps, while still ensuring that you're getting the right skill in the business, as well as a good diverse population of people that can bring innovation, engagement, differences of thinking, and ultimately an amazing cultural experience for your business. So that is the strategy, how you're going to take this to the next level. And on our next video, we are going to talk a bit about the recruitment strategy and bringing into play unconscious bias, which is the next thing that we're going to have to talk about, because that's going to come into play when you're doing your recruiting.